Hi guys, Andy here again from Untitled Designs with another in the print and play series, and this time we are going to be playing 9 Card Siege by Chris Hansen. We are trying to stop the enemies from getting into our castle. So I will show you what you need. You will need the cards. Obviously you're going to get 9 cards. You will also need 9 cubes of various colours. The colours don't really matter because they're going to go on certain tracks, and you need a 6-sided die as well. So let's first set the game up so you can see how it's all set up. So you're going to take these 2 tracker cards, place them down like so. Then you're going to take these event cards, you're going to give them a shuffle, make sure they're thoroughly mixed, and place them down like so. I'll zoom in a bit more so you can see a bit more clearly. So okay, we've zoomed in, so I'm now going to place the tokens on the tracks. So the first thing I'm going to do is place these 3 tokens on these 3 tracks. We have our wall, and the catapults over here are going to be attacking our wall. We have morale. Cards will say lose a morale. If any of our soldiers get captured behind the enemy lines, we're going to lose morale. You can also lose 1 morale to get an extra action point as well. And then we have supplies. At the end of every day, we are going to be losing a supply because we have to feed our men, obviously. And cards will also say lose a supply. Then we're going to have our tunnelling soldiers are going to go here. They start at the castle. They can make their way through the tunnel behind enemy lines, and once they're there, they can either grab supplies, which is this yellow cube, which I'm just going to place there, or they can sabotage the trebuchets, these catapults. So that is the setup for the player card. The enemy card, we are going to be placing an enemy here. This is the ladder track. So obviously enemies are trying to run up with ladders, put them against the wall and climb up. So that's going to go there. We have the battering ram. It's going to try and get through the castle gates. And then we have, oh, I'll show you this. Then we have, which at first I thought was one of those Daleks from Doctor Who, but it's not. It's actually a siege tower. So we put another token there, furthest from the wall. Then we have our trebuchet. So the enemy starts with 3 catapults, and we're hopefully going to be trying to knock those down. Otherwise, we are going to be getting the wall smashed in, and we certainly don't want that. Then you have your 6-sided die. We're going to be rolling for tests, and then I use poker chips just to remind me of the action points I have, and I'm going to put those there like that. So that is the setup. So let's get on to the gameplay, and I will try and describe what's happening while I'm playing. Okay, so now it is time for us to see if we can defend this 3-day siege. So the first thing you're going to do on a turn is you're going to check if any of your men are behind enemy lines. Well, in this case, no, our men are not behind the enemy lines, so we can skip that little phase. You'll see that phase later on in the game. The next thing you do is you're going to turn over the top card of the event deck, like so. This entire deck, all 7 cards, represents a day. So we're going to be going through this deck once, and that's day 1. Then we're going to take them all, shuffle them, go through them again for day 2, shuffle them all again, and go through them all again for day 3. And if we can survive, then we've won. So each of these cards is split into 3 sections. This is for day 1. So we are on day 1, so all these cards we're going to be going through, we're going to be looking at the top section. Once we've shuffled and we go through again, it's day 2, we're looking at the middle section, and then again for day 3 we're looking at the bottom section. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the top section. Here we go. And the first thing we're going to look at is this number 2. This represents how many action points we're going to have on our turn. So I'm going to represent that by putting these out, so 2 of them. Next up, we have the enemy phase of moving the tracks. So as you can see, in this banner at the top, we have a ladder and a siege tower. So all that means is on these tracks here, we're looking for the ladder and the siege tower, and we're going to move them forward one. So there's the ladder and there's the siege tower. That's it. So for any icons in here, you're just going to be moving the appropriate cubes forward. Next we have some text. Death of a leader. That's just flavour text. Just helps you visualise what's happening for that part of the day. And then we have reduce morale by 1. So basically we are going to reduce our morale by 1. There you go. That's what that means. So now it is our turn. So I'll put that there. So we have 2 action points. I'll move that out of the way so don't get confused. There's many things we can do. We can try and bring back up these 3 tracks. We can try and force back these 3 tracks. We can move along the tunnel, or if we're in enemy lines we can try and grab supplies or try and sabotage a trebuchet. I can't do anything with these at the moment because these are at full health. I can't do anything with this one because this one's far back as it can. I can't do anything with the trebuchet or supplies because we need to be behind enemy lines. So what can I do? I can push morale back up. I can boost the morale, or I can try and push these back, or I can enter the tunnel. I think I'll try and push the ladder back. Okay, so on each track, and the bottom of each track, I don't know if you can see it, it says strength on each track, and then there's a number. This one says strength 2, this one says strength 3, and this one says strength 4. So in order to push one of these tracks back, you're going to have to roll your dice and get above what this number is. So if I wanted to push back the ladder, I would roll this, and because it says strength 2, I would need a 3, 4 or 5. If I was trying to do this one, it says strength 3, I need 4, 5, 6, and a 6 on that one as well. On the siege tower, it says strength 4, so I would need a 5 or 6. The same sort of thing with these. If I wanted to push the morale back, it says down the side here, a 5 or 6. If I spent a supply when rolling, I can add 1 to my dice roll. So I can spend 1 supply, roll this, add 1 to it, to hopefully get the morale back up. That's how you get these back up. Well, the wall and the morale, you roll a 5 or 6 to try and get those back up. So I'm going to try and push the ladder back. So I'm going to spend 1 action point. It says strength 2, so I need the 3, 4, 5 or 6 to push that ladder back. Let's see what we get. And we've got a 5, it says knocking things about, which is more than the 2, so we push that ladder back 1. Like so. Now I can try and push the morale back by rolling a 5 or 6, it says down the side. Or I can try rolling a 5 or 6 to push this back. Or what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to spend an action point to enter the tunnel. Now it always costs 1 action point to enter the tunnel, whether you're going from the castle into the tunnel or whether you're going from the enemy lines into the tunnel. So I'm going to spend that action point and I'm going to go into the tunnel. So I'll move into the tunnel. Moving through the tunnel, you've got 2 options. One is spend an action point to move all the way to the other side. So for example, if I had an action point left, I could spend it and move all the way to the enemy lines. And same going backwards. If I was in the tunnel from the enemy lines section, I could move all the way back to the castle. I've moved into the tunnel. However, I don't have an action point to do that, and you can do that on the same turn as you enter the castle. The second way of moving is every turn you can move 1 square through the tunnel for free. It doesn't cost action point, it's completely free. However, you cannot do that on the same turn as you enter. And that's how you move through the tunnel. I've got no action points left, I've got nothing left to do, so that's my turn over with. So that's that portion of the day done, that turn. So we move on to the next day, the next part of the day. First thing you check, has any of our men behind enemy lines? No, we can skip that. So, okay, so we're looking at the top part because we're still in the first day, and we have a sword. What the sword means is any of these that are lagging behind the others move forward 1. If they're equal, they're both going to move forward 1, or maybe even all 3. If they're all equal, they'll move forward 1. So we have 2 that are lagging behind are equal, so these both are going to move up 1. Not what I wanted. Again, just the text, Cover of Darkness. We get 3 action points. And this is going to be beneficial to us, +1 to a raid and sabotage actions. So if I can get my men behind them enemy lines and I try and sabotage a trebuchet, or I want to try and pick up supplies, I can +1 to the roll. And I have 3 action points, so what shall I do? I really want to get some of these down, so I am going to... What can I do? Let's go and try and knock the battering ram back. So it says a strength of 3, so I need to roll a 4, 5 or 6, because you need to roll more than the strength. And we get a 1, of course we do. So that means nothing happens, you've just spent your action point. Let's spend an action point to go through the tunnel. So 1 action point allows me to go all the way to the tunnel. And we don't need supplies as yet. Let's try and sabotage a trebuchet. So in order to sabotage a trebuchet, you're going to be rolling again a 5 or 6 to try and hit a trebuchet. But because of this, we get a +1 to our roll. So let's see what we get. So we need a 4, 5 or 6 really in this turn. Oh god. Yeah, we completely missed the trebuchet. There we go. So that is that part of the day over with. Moving on to the next part. Do you have any of our men behind enemy lines? Yes, we do. So the test is, you roll this. If you roll a 1, you lose in morale, and yet men go right back to the castle. So hopefully we don't roll a 1. Thought we were going to roll a 1 then, so that's fine. We've passed that test. So we do the trebuchet. Okay. So the trebuchet attacks. So we're going to get 3 action points. I'll have those, thank you very much. And then basically you just look at where this is on the track. Well, it's on the 3-1, so you look at the 3-1. Remember, we're still on the first day, and it says 2 damage to the wall. So our wall is going to take 2 damage. Okay, so nothing else happens with the enemy, just the trebuchet attacks, but we do have 3 action points. I want to get that wall up. I want to try and sabotage. I want to get supplies. I want to do what? I want to do it all. Okay. I am going to spend 1 action point to try and bring this wall back up. So a 5 or 6, it says down the side there. If you roll a 5 or 6, let's see what we get. Yes, we get a 6. We bring that back up 1. Shall we try and sabotage? There's only 1 trebuchet attack card in the deck, so we're not going to be attacked by a trebuchet again until the next day. So is it worth me trying to sabotage yet? I want to get some of these down. I'm going to try and get the ladders back. So we need to roll a 3, 4, 5 or 6. Oh, of course we need to spend an action point to do it. I don't know if you can see that, but that is a 6. So that goes back down. Let's go and let's try the siege tower. So we need a 5 or 6 to try and get this siege tower back. Of course we didn't do it. Okay, so moving on. Our enemy are behind enemy lines, so we roll anything but a 1. That's alright, we've got a 2. Moving on. So the icon here is the ladder, so the ladder is going to move forward 1. We're going to get 2 action points, and then we're going to reduce our supplies by 1. Ugh. Okay, so can we do? Should we try and grab some supplies? Yeah, I'm going to have our men grab some supplies. So what we do is we roll the die. If we get a 3, 4 or 5, we can gain 1 supply. If we got a 6, we gain 2 supplies. If you roll a 1, we've been captured. Morale goes down by 1 and our soldiers go back to the start. It doesn't say anything about a 2. If we look, so 2 must mean nothing. You don't grab anything. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Watch it be a 2. That'd be typical, wouldn't it? Yes, yes, there goes my luck. So we don't even do anything. Okay, should we try and grab the supplies again? Or should we try and bring one of these back? Or maybe push one of these back? I'm going to try and grab some more supplies, so I'm going to spend another action point. So 3, 4, 5 or 6. So we grab 1 supply and we show that by putting this on the number 1. So our men have got 1 supply, but they have to make it back. So that is that turn over with for part of the day. Our men are behind enemy lines at the start of the day, so we're going to roll, make sure we don't get a 1. We get a 6, that's fine. Turn the card over. And we're going to get 2 action points. And the battering ram is going to move forward 1, which is this one. Getting mighty close, I'll have to start pushing that one back. However, it says -1 to attacks on the battering ram. Oh, not what we needed. I am going to spend 1 action point for our men to move into the tunnel. There we are. And they still have 1 supply. And I'm going to spend 1 action point to try and push this battering ram back. But we have to -1 on our die roll. So let's hope we get a 6. Wow. Oh dear. Okay. Of course. Right. Next part of the day. Any of our men behind enemy lines? No. We've actually moved into the tunnel, so we don't need to roll. So we turn this over. Again, it's the battering ram, so it's getting mighty close, really close. Volley of arrows, +1 to all attacks, which is these. And I'm going to 3 action points, and I'm going to spend the first action point to try and get this battering ram back. And when an enemy is on the circle, you can use what's called a boiling water attack. You're basically pouring boiling water on the battering ram. So whatever you roll, you're going to add 1 to your total. So you're going to automatically add 1 when you're on a circle. And I've also got this +1 as well, so I'm going to add 2. So when I roll this, it's +1 for what it says on the card, and +1 for being close to the gates. You automatically get a +1 when you're rolling if any of the enemy are on the circle. So I'm going to add a +2 to this, so it says a strength 3. So let's see what we get. So 3 +1 +1. Sorry, 1 +1 +1 is 3. It's not more than the 3. We need more than the 3. And you can only do this once per turn. So I could not attack this battering ram again this turn. It's not what I wanted at all. So I'm going to spend another action point to try and bring the siege tower down. So I need a 5 or 6, but I do have a +1. So let's see what we get. Yep, of course, yep. Right, and let's spend this again. Let's go for the siege tower again. Let's hope we get a big score. So 4 plus the 1 is 5, which is more than the 4. Siege tower goes down. Okie doke, that's it for that turn. So we're on the last part of the day. Are we behind enemy lines? Nope. So we're okay. So turn this over. The siege tower is going to move forward 1. We have 2 action points. And we're going to reduce the morale by 1 and supplies by 1. Morale and supplies. Okay. I'm going to try the boiling water attack for the ram. So I need a 3, but I do get a +1 because we're in the circle, we're in close quarters there. Oh yes, we've done it. That gets pushed back 1. Of course we spend a... And I'm going to try and... I can attack the battering ram again because it's now off the circle. To push that back again 1 if I can. Or shall I try and push the morale back up 1? I'm going to spend this to try and push the morale back up 1. So we need a 5 or 6. Here we go. A 2. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that now is the end of the day. Full day. So at the end of the day, various things happen. First thing is, we're going to feed our people. So our supplies go down by 1. If our soldiers are in the tunnel, not on the enemy lines, but actually in the tunnel, they will automatically go back to the castle. And when they do, they're going to drop off the supplies. So that 1 is going to add to our supplies. And then we shuffle these and start on day 2. So give them a good shuffle like so. Put that there. So I'm going to leave that there, guys. That's day 1. Join me again in the next video when I'll try and survive day 2. But until then, I will catch you guys later.